All right, let's go ahead and get started. So thank you all for being here for our first training Tuesday. We'll be doing these calls every Tuesday starting at 2 o'clock. We'll be covering a variety of topics.
Want me to go get them?
If you feel up to it.
From email marketing to social media marketing, cold calling, optimizing your open houses. So a variety of topics will be there. If you're interested in seeing a specific class or call, just let us know. We'll be happy to put one together. So you can enter it in the text here or email us later, or just let us know in person at the office. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Phil. I was originally licensed as a real estate broker in 2003. I've worked for Century 21, Remax, and also Champions. So yeah, so we'll start on this call, which is going to be an email marketing guide. We're going to cover a lot of the basic things that many of you probably already know, but we want to make sure we're covering everything. So if you've never done this, you'll be able to go start to finish and set up an email marketing campaign if you'd like. So first, we're going to talk about open and click-through rates. So studies in this specific area show that about 20% of people will open your email if the subject line is interesting. And this was specific to the real estate industry. So pretty easy to get someone to open your email and read it, as long as it sounds like it's a real email, right? If your subject line is important real estate news in all caps, right, they're probably not going to open that. However, if your email subject line is something similar to home value or new listings in Mill Creek, and they live in Mill Creek, there's a good chance they'll open it, you know, or even better, you know, home values in Country Manor subdivision. If they live in that subdivision, they're probably going to open that email. So it is important to take note of what your subject lines are. That's going to drive who's opening your emails. The click-through rate for email marketing in real estate, specifically in this area, is currently 1.94% on average. So those are going to be the people that click on something inside of your email. That's going to take them somewhere else, probably to a landing page or your website. Skipped one there. So the click-through rate, like I said, it's the people that open your email and actually click on a link leading them to your landing page or website. Your goal, though, really is to get them to call you, right? Or to visit a web page where your web page can generate a conversation between you and your prospect. So, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we need more than people just opening the emails, right? They've got to call you if you're going to get any business. The conversion rate obviously is the most important part, right? So your conversion rate is the number of people that have received your email and you actually generated a sale because you sent out that email. So conversion rates will fluctuate depending on how you interact with your potential clients and how well designed your landing page is. So it's really important if you get a response to your email, people will reply, that you respond back to them, either through email or call them if you have their contact information. If they call you, make sure you're answering your phone right away, or if you miss the call, that you're returning the voicemail right away. The average conversion rate for a well-built landing page is 6.7%. So, which is a pretty good conversion rate, especially when you're looking at emails and how easy it is to send out thousands of emails at a time. So what is a landing page? So for those of you that aren't familiar with marketing online, landing pages, it's really the backbone to any online marketing campaign. It's exactly where your potential clients are going to be directed when they click on your ad or your URL link, whether it's on Facebook, Google, Twitter, or through an email. You're going to need some sort of a link to direct them, whether it's your web page or whatever, where they're going to go when they click on your ad. You can design your own, landing page, which is fairly complicated, or you could pay a third-party company to design one for you. It can be expensive to set up and maintain. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about doing something like this. Your landing page must have a URL, right? It's got to have a web page address. It needs to be hosted somewhere on the internet. So you'll have to pay someone such as GoDaddy. There's a variety of sites that do it, and they'll charge you a monthly fee. Champions Real Estate, we do offer state-of-the-art data capture landing pages that include full home search for all the homes on the MLS at a heavily discounted rate. So if you're interested in setting something like that up, just reach out to Brenda or Chris, and we can get it put together for you. So typically, if you're having another company build you a landing page, it's usually about $500. Sometimes it could be more than that. I mean, it could be $1,500. And then often they're going to want to host it for you. And so it's $500 every month. And that's not including any of your advertising. So if you do advertising outside of that, it's even more. So with Champions, you can set up a landing page and have it hosted, and it's only $50. So it's a pretty sweet deal. So if you're interested in that, like I said, let Brenda or Chris know, we can help you out. What's important with a landing page is it should always provide a service or benefit to the potential client, right? If your landing page is just a picture of you say with a sign saying, hey, call me, you're probably not going to generate a lot of business from that. So really you want to make sure that, you know, hey, they can search for homes in their area, actual homes that are in the MLS. Like, hey, they can schedule a viewing to go, you know, see a home. They can see what the value of their house is or what's going on in the market in their area. So those are the things that are going to be successful and that get a prospective client to actually interact with the information you're putting out there. So going back to the emails, right? We're doing email marketing. So it's important that we obviously build an email list. So, and that's going to be an ongoing thing if you're involved in email marketing. So there's a million places you can get them, right? Business cards, obviously. Everyone's got a business card. If they try and hand it to you, take it. It's got their email address on it. I promise you can add it to your list. Anywhere you go, you should be collecting those if you're doing email marketing. If you go to a restaurant, you know, right at the host stand, there's probably 4 or 5 business cards, one for each manager. Grab every single one of those. They can afford a house. You know, you go to the mechanics, grab their business card. Anywhere you go, anyone that hands you one, I'd take it. Obviously, you can get email addresses from the purchase and sale agreements for the clients that are not yours for future business. Your current clients, you obviously have their email addresses. Move that over to your database. Make sure that you utilize them moving forward. Any website you go to, if it's a local company and you know that, there's going to be a contact us location. You'll be able to find an email address somewhere. Social media. Some people build their social media profile and they include their email address. So, you know, when you're first starting on building an email list, that's a great resource. Go through your Facebook, look at everyone's profile, take whatever email addresses you have from there and add those to your list as well. And then another way you can do it if you don't want to buy a list is public libraries. You can build a list fairly easy. You just need a library membership. You go in, sit down on their computer. You can do all kinds of search criteria based off where they live, you know, what the zip code is, what the household income is. So there's a variety of different things you can do there to build your list for basically free. I think it's like $10 to get a library card, but obviously you can buy email lists. Title companies and reps can provide them for you. So you can call up Chicago Title, let them know what type of a list you need, and they'll put it together for you. Usually it's best if you email them so they have all the specifics in writing, and just let them know about how many people you'd like, and all of the main criteria, such as, right, you only want people over 18. because people under 18 aren't going to be able to buy a house. You're going to want, probably a certain area like Snohomish County. Probably looking at people that have lived in their residence for 5+ years, that are making over 150,000 a year. But you can build that all in, and then your title rep can provide you the list. There's a fee. It's pretty inexpensive though. It's based off the number of people that you get. Those lists usually include the phone number, the name of the person, the address, their email address, and then whatever specific things you're requiring, such as household income or whatever. So you can also just purchase them online. If you just go to Google or Yahoo and just type in a search for email lists, there's a variety of companies out there you can call. Just tell them what you're looking for. They'll give you a quote. And they can usually get you a list within 30 minutes or an hour. So I definitely recommend starting by buying some sort of a list and then just adding to it with the other methods that we were just discussing. So definitely obey the law, right? I think everyone already knows that's pretty important. But when it comes to email advertising, you have to make sure that all of your emails have the address of the company sending the email. Even if you're paying another company to send them out, it's got to have your company address in there. So the champion's address has to be on all your emails. It's probably already built into your signature, but you may make a new signature for your email blasts, in which case just make sure you have that address on there. The other thing is that you have to have an unsubscribe option at the bottom. So as the law specifically describes it, it has to be a visible and operable unsubscribe mechanism, must be present in all emails. So if you're paying for a company to send out your emails and manage your email list, they'll add that for you. If you are trying to do this on your own, I don't recommend this, but if you are going to try and do this on your own to save yourself a little bit of money, you have to make sure that unsubscribe link is there. If you need help adding an unsubscribe list, we're happy to help you out with it. Just reach out to Chris or myself, and we'll give you a hand setting it up. And before you send out an email blast on your own without using a third-party company, I highly recommend reaching out to Chris or myself and having us review your email before it gets sent out to make sure it's in compliance. Anyone who does click that unsubscribe link for you, we need to pull them off the list within 10 business days. And in this case, business days include Saturdays. So Sunday is the only day that's excluded, and federal holidays. So yeah, make sure that you're pulling those out pretty quick and you're paying attention to your emails and your subscriptions. So back to subject lines, right? So subject lines cannot be misleading or deceptive, and they should describe what's in the email. And the main thing that I want to stress here is it's really important that what we're sending out is of value to our prospects. What we're sending out in an email is something that they want to open, and that it's going to have information that they care about. And so we don't want to use gimmicky headlines, and headlines like that are just going to reduce the size of your list. Because if you have that important real estate information in all caps, they're going to know it's spam and they're not going to click on it, or they're just going to click on it and unsubscribe. So try to make sure that whatever your subject line is, it's something relevant to them. Because if you put in something that sounds gimmicky and like an ad, they're just going to unsubscribe, and you've paid money and hard work to get those email addresses. So you don't want to shrink your list, right? You want to keep growing it. So just make sure that those are really clear on what your email is about. So email content. So the content of the email should provide information of value, like I said. So market data, or maybe a free CMA or BPO, new listings in their area, recently sold in their area. So there's a variety of things you can do. And as as you build your list, you might have a list that's 15,000 email addresses. You can break them into different groups, right? You can have, well, these, 5,000 fit this category and they're going to get this email. This 5,000 is going to get this other email, maybe based on where they live, or things of that nature. So, keep that in mind. There might not be one email that's going to be a good fit for your database if it's 15,000 people. So content from other sources should never be copied, right, and pasted unless you pay for it. So that can get you into a lot of trouble. If you read an article from the Seattle Times on what's going on in the real estate market in Seattle, don't copy and paste it. You can read the article and then type an article in your own words about the same subject. That's fine. But yeah, make sure you're not copying and pasting, because that will eventually catch up with you. There are companies that will create daily content for you if you pay for a subscription, and usually that's pretty cheap. So if you're doing a lot of stuff on social media, or you're sending out a lot of emails and you need content on a regular basis, I'd recommend just paying for those subscriptions. A lot of them have great data. They include charts, graphs. So it's definitely worth your time. Usually they're about $50 a month, so it's not really a huge amount.
What are some of the companies?
So what's that?
What are some of the companies?
So some of the companies are right here. So we've got NerdWallet, HomeBot, Keeping Current Matters. My personal recommendation would be Keeping Current Matters or HomeBot. I mean, they're both really good. So HomeBot has got some great emails. I'm actually signed up for them, and so every month I'll get an email and it'll tell me what the value of my home is, and it'll go into all the market data for recently sold houses. That's a little bit more expensive to set up. So I believe it's $400 for setup. And then after that, I think it's like $60 or $100 a month. Keeping Current Matters is pretty inexpensive. It's $50 a month. And one of the things that you want to look at if you're looking at getting a content provider is, look at people that are using their content first and see how it displays. So if you look at, realtor.com, they provide a ton of content. But when you look at their content, you read their articles, it shows that it came from realtor.com, right? So anyone that sees the article knows that you didn't generate that information. So it defeats the purpose, right? When you're trying to provide content, you want to look like the expert. So it kind of defeats the purpose of putting that content out there when you're tagging a different author, right? So like with Keeping Current Matters, they provide you with content, but they don't put an author anywhere on there. So everyone that's reading that content, they believe you are the original author of it. And in fact, it's very difficult to even find out that it came from Keeping Current Matters. You actually have to go into the coding of the web page to find KCM in their thousands of lines of code. It's not even their full name, it's just the acronym. So that's one of the reasons I fully support them. They're set up to do it on social media as well, not just emails. So that's probably one of my top, if not the top recommendation. But HomeBot is great too. Like I said, it does have a big buy-in cost. Oh, I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry. So with these three, NerdWallet, HomeBot, and Keeping Current Matters, are you saying then it's like a branded with your name and logo, champions, and things like that? Like is that what you're saying then?
So basically, they've got different packages. So yes. So HomeBot, like the emails that would go out, they would have like your email signature on it. It would have information about your prospect's home value. and what their house is worth, what the recent solds were in the neighborhood. But yeah, it would have your name on it. It would say champions, your phone number, your picture. Keeping Current Matters, they have a couple of different packages you can get. I believe they all have full branding. One of them actually includes a full web page, where it's like a blog web page that people can go to, and it's got all your contact info. And then every day they just automatically update it with new content. And so it's just there. But some of their packages are, you just get the information emailed to you, and then you can put it in email, or you can put it on social media. So it depends on the package you're getting. But yes, it would have your branding, your name, your phone number, link to your web page. Now, with Keeping Current Matters, the way that they have their own web page that they can build for you as one of their packages, I would probably put some thought into that. I don't know how many web pages you have, but it's really easy to blink and look up in this business, and you've got 3, 4, 5 different web pages, right? And that's difficult for the clients too, right? So if I've got one page where everyone can search for houses on, and I'm directing my clients there, and then I put a link to my blog page, and then they click on that, and it takes them to a totally different web page where they can read about information that I've posted about the market. They might not figure out how to get back to the house page, and so they get lost in the browsing. So, I try to keep everything to one page if possible, or at least as minimal as possible, and just keep that in mind, right? Your content page, like from Keeping Current Matters, is not designed as any type of a data capture page. Your contact number's on there, so they might give you a phone call, they might shoot you an email, but you're not actually going to capture data from them. So if you've got a different landing page where your users can search homes and put in their name and their phone number and their email address and say, hey, reach out to me, I want to schedule an appointment, you probably want to keep directing most of your people to that site. So, but these are great content providers. Yeah.
Sorry, then another question on that. So regarding like that conversion rate, do you see that it's better to have your own agent branded website with, like you said, with the ability to search for listings or things like that, versus deferring to what we already have with Champions? Champions has a website where they can do all that. Is there a difference?
Yeah, so there is. So the site that I was talking about, the landing page, it's $50 a month that Champions offers. So that's got a much higher conversion rate than just going to the northwestchampions.com. So that page is nice, and it'll capture data, and it will generate leads for the business. But everything about homesforsale.nw.com is geared towards capturing data, setting appointments, and getting them to reach out to us. So you're going to have a much better conversion rate using a landing page like that we could provide for you, because they can search the homes, click to schedule an appointment right then and there. They can call you directly. It's good. And it's also got an automated drip campaign, email drip campaign that you can set up, and a text messaging drip campaign. So as soon as they show that they're interested in a property, you can configure it so they receive a text message saying, hey, I saw that you were looking at, that house on 34th Avenue. If you have any questions, give me a call or text me, and they may text you right then or call you right then, because they know that there's a live person there, ready to respond. And you get updated with any activity via text and email in real time. So if someone logs in to your landing page and they're looking at houses, you get notified on your phone. You're like, oh, hey, someone's looking at my webpage right now. Like, let me see what they're looking at. Obviously, you don't necessarily want to call them just because they're looking, right? But if they, look at 10 houses, you can see kind of what they're looking for. Then maybe you want to reach out to them and say, hey, I found these other houses you might be interested in if you want to take a look. All right, and then didn't go anywhere. All right. So email marketing companies. So there are companies, as I mentioned, that can manage your email list for you. So top ones include MailChimp, Constant Contact, and your mailing list provider. So yeah, you can pay a variety of companies to do it. Usually, depending on your list size, you're looking at like 100, 120 bucks a month. So, I mean, depending, right, you can always scale it to the max. I mean, if your only marketing is going to be email, you're probably going to want 25,000 people on your list. If you have a variety of different ways that you market your business, you're probably good with just, 5,000 or so. Now, going back to the conversion rates, just to give you an idea of what it takes to get you an actual transaction. So if you're relying on your landing page and email marketing, your conversion rate, right, ends up being about 1 out of every 50,000 emails you send, you will get a deal on. So it's a lot of emails, but it's not a lot of money to send that. So, and that would generate enough business to where you would average a dozen deals a year. Now, obviously, if you can get them to call you, and instead of having to go through the process of a landing page, you have an opportunity to sell them quicker, and your conversion rate is going to go up significantly. So whatever email you have out there, I recommend that the main email has your contact information, your phone number right there for them to call you, and there should be a call to action for them to call you. Now, it's a good idea to include a landing page in case they don't want to call you, especially nowadays, more and more people want to do everything online and through text. So you should provide a landing page as well. But ideally, we want to direct them just to call you because that's where you're going to get the business. So, yeah, if you are planning on setting up MailChimp or your mailing list provider, if you need help, let Chris know or myself. We'll be happy to help you out. Some of the marketing companies do provide content as well. So you might not need to go out and pay for keeping current matters if you go with MailChimp and they have enough content for you. So, I mean, I believe all three of these companies offer content of some sort for real estate. Excuse me. So if you're planning on doing this, I'd set up this company first and then see what the content looks like. If you need additional content, then I would look at those other companies. So best practices. So this is a big one. Don't overdo it. So yeah, we recommend 2 to 3 emails per month. If you're sending out emails every day, people are just going to start unsubscribing. It might take them a few weeks, but they're going to. So try to be consistent. For my emails, I send them out on the first Thursday of every month and the third Thursday of every month. And then I also send one out on the first of the month. So all of my prospects get 3 emails per month. So I'd recommend something similar to that. But yeah, try to be consistent with it. If you just say I'm going to send out 2 a month and they're on different days and times all the time, you kind of lose some of that drip, right? The effectiveness of the drip campaign, because you've got certain people that they're checking their emails at the exact same time every day. You know, I mean, I'm checking my emails all day. I think most of us are, but I come in and, I'm checking my emails pretty heavy between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. And then after that, I just kind of glance at them as they come in and, oh, that one looks important. I'll check it out. But consistency is definitely key. Every email address you obtain, other than another real estate broker, should be added to your list. I don't recommend adding other real estate brokers. 1, they're probably not going to call you to sell their house. 2, you're giving them free content, right? They're just going to know what you're doing. They're going to copy it. And you just, enhanced your competition. So any other brokers that are on there, I'd pull them off. Update your list regularly. And I would recommend every week. So I would have a set day if I were doing it myself, and just, every Monday, I'm gonna go in, add people, remove the people that want to unsubscribe. If you're working with MailChimp or somebody and they're managing your list, you still have to upload them. They'll take off the unsubscribes for you. In that case, I mean, you don't necessarily need to do it every week. You could probably do it once a month or something, but you should have a set day that at least once a month where you're like, okay, the first of the month, I'm going to go and update my list. Know when your emails are going out and what the content of the email is. And that sounds like a basic thing, but if you're paying for content or paying for someone else to send out your emails, it's crucial that you know what they're sending, because you're going to get phone calls on it. You will. So my list is, I only send out to 2,600 brokers. You're going to be sending out to probably a lot more people, because you're sending out to the general public, people that are going to be buying houses. But my target obviously is brokers, being that I'm a lender, and pairing up with brokers is the best, for both of us. But every time I send out a blast, I get about 3-4 phone calls, and people asking me about the information I just sent out. So make sure that you know what you're sending out, exactly what it is, so you're not caught off guard, because then you definitely don't look like an expert. And then, yeah, of course, be ready for the phone to ring, because it's going to happen. You will get calls. Usually, I don't get calls more than a week after an email goes out about that email. So, but most of the calls I get are going to be the same day or the day after. But, all right, wow. I went through that a bit quicker than I expected. I figured these calls would be about 30 minutes to an hour, but does anyone have any questions for me about this, or any specific areas that you need help with? Because I probably know a bit more than what was on these slides.
So you were talking about manually managing your email list, and I can see that through a platform like MailChimp or Constant Contact. But are there other platforms that just do it for you? Because I don't want to be doing that.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're doing it for you, yeah, it's a pain. So yeah, I would definitely do it through MailChimp or a service like that. You still are going to have to go in there and decide what goes out, but it's significantly easier than trying to do it yourself. That and the other issues you run into when you try and do it yourself is like Gmail and Yahoo won't allow you to send out mass emails like that. So you need to find a specific company that will allow you to do it, to send it out. Some of the other issues you can run into is if you try to send out too fast. So if you go out and you buy a list of 25,000 email addresses and you try and send that email out tomorrow, you are instantly going to be marked as spam. So you need to start with a small list, and then you can increase the size over time. So you'd want to start with about 1,000, and then maybe add another 500, and then add another 500, every few weeks, and build your way up to that 25,000. Because all the systems are designed to try to prevent spam. So you need to be careful on how you do it. And that's another benefit to using a service like that, because they're aware of that. And they're the ones sending the emails. They've built up clients over a long period of time, so you're not as likely to get flagged. Any other questions? There's got to be more. I can help.
I got a lot. I'll keep asking until somebody else raises their hand.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's two sides to email marketing, right? One is you're just buying all of these random people, but what about adding value through email to existing clients, whether they've bought through you before or they're potentially? Can you talk about those two different sides? Because I feel like the content of those could be different. And can you speak to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's going to be a lot of different groups that you're going to want to market to. You're going to want to market to past clients, right? Because you want to nurture them and keep them. That's usually going to be 30% to 50% of your business moving forward. But yeah, you'll want to target maybe first-time home buyers. Maybe you want to target people in Mill Creek or Edmonds because the property values there are good. And that's kind of what I touched on at the beginning. You may have multiple lists that equal out your 10,000 people or however many people you decide to email to. But yeah, like with existing clients, HomeBot has got great content. Like I was mentioning earlier, I'm signed up for them. I get an email every month telling me about my exact house, like what my house is worth, how much equity I have it built in it. And then it's got all the information about all my neighbors' houses that are selling all the time. I mean, I get all of that. And so, right, that's something that is of value. Like I actually read it every time I get it. I'm like, ooh, I got this. Let me take a look and see what I'm at. So that's great for existing clients. Now, I mean, you can find content like that through, the other services like Keeping Current Matter, but you're going to want to look through the content they provide and determine which list you're going to mail it to, right? So you can have a list of existing clients, and then you can have a list of people that live in Country Manor subdivision, a list of people that live in, Mill Creek, a list of people that want waterfront property. And then you can send specific content to each one of those lists based on what you think is going to work for them. It's kind of tough to try and find one email that's going to work good for 10,000 people, right? So it is important to break it down into smaller groups. It might take you, 5 hours that week to go through and figure out who's going to get what. But when you're hitting 10,000 people, that's huge. And it's significantly cheaper than your mail out, your direct mail marketing. And it's far more likely to get open and read than your direct mail marketing. So there's a lot of great benefits to having an email campaign.
I have a question. This citing. So what does, how the company takes the listings that the individual brokers have under Champions and they have it on Craigslist or whatever other sites? What does Champions do already in this marketing with
Email
individual clients?
So in email marketing, primarily what Champions does, and Chris probably knows more about this than I do. He's on the phone right now, though, it looks like. But primarily, I know that they do recruiting advertising through emails. I know they do a ton of that. I know that they have had campaigns running before for the company in general. I'm actually working on putting one together for the company right now for the round robin system. But yeah, I'm not sure if there's anything else that they're doing right now at Champions. Chris would be better to answer that question, or Brenda, or even Chelsea. But I can tell you, I mean, I do email marketing. So if you have questions for me about email marketing, I can help you.
Well, so what I'm saying is our Champions are going through and they're picking up the introduction with the individual other brokers, for example, on our transactions, and that's a tool they can use to reach other brokers for recruitment.
Yes.
Is Champions also involved in a program with our clients that lets them send out a marketing email?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So there are occasionally emails that go out to all the past clients. So they do maintain a list. I know that Sam is responsible for reaching out to clients to get a review for the broker in situations that we know, or we're very confident that the broker is going to get a great review. Other than that, I don't think it's on a set schedule. If it is, I think it's like once a month or something. We don't send out a ton of emails to your past clients. And they're generally just kind of generic emails, just so they remember that they went through Champions. Because yeah, we we're not set up to where we can send out a different email branded for each broker to their specific clients. It's just one email that goes out that, you know, talks about, you know, hey, you're ready to, you know, buy or sell, you know, home prices are great right now. And it'll show something about the increase over the year. They're just really kind of generic emails that are going out right now.
And you're saying that's more like once a month?
Yeah, it doesn't have the frequency.
So it's only company branded. There's no individual identified with it.
Yeah, it's just a company brand, and yeah, it's not really designed to generate, you know, an immediate transaction as much as it is just about company branding and them being aware who they went through when they did their transaction.
Can we see those or why don't we see those?
So I mean, we probably could pull those up. I don't have access to those where I'm at right now. I don't know that I have access to them anyways. Chris would be able to pull those up for you. Chris, you're off the phone now. So they're asking about what Champions does currently to reach out to past clients in the form of email. And I know that we have in the past sent out blasts. Is there a specific frequency that we send them out to? Do you have an example of any of that content that you're emailing out when we do that?
Can we have access to those and see those?
Well, so the only thing we send to, you know, our brokers clients is for doing the reviews.
Oh, is that all we're sending out to them?
Right, because yeah, the brokers, you know, it's their client, so
Okay.
they'll be responsible. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure it was HomeBot that Chuck uses. So I know at least one of our agents uses that.
Yeah.
And then Pat's mainly done like mailings, you know, traditional mailings. So
Direct mail out. Okay, so I guess that answers that. So no, unfortunately, we don't have something that we can share with you that shows the content because we don't send anything like that out. I mean, I can add you to my email list if you want to see the content I send out. You know, I'm more than happy to do that. I have an email going out in 2 days.
Yeah, if you could add me, I'd like to see.
Okay. Yeah, I'll add it. I mean, mine, of course, is more focused on lending, but it
Right.
does talk about the general market as well.
Okay.
You can see what my newsletter looks like. And what I'll try and do is tomorrow I'll take a look and I'll try to pull up some different brokers that are using Keeping Current Matters.
Okay.
And I'll try and find the recent HomeBot email that I received. And I can
Okay.
send you those as well, or links to those.
That would be great.
You can take a look at what the type of content it is that they provide.
Okay.
But yeah, it's pretty high quality. It's pretty,
Okay.
especially for how inexpensive it is. You know, $50 a month, and you've got content that you can put on Twitter, you can put on Facebook, you know, you can put in your email blasts, and it really makes you look like an expert. And
Okay.
after
I
they
would-
get 2 or 3 of those, I don't think there's any question that you know what you're doing, and they're going to call
Okay.
it.
I would rather see them from you than from them, I think, initially.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Do we have any other questions?
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope I was able to help with something. If you plan on doing a email marketing campaign, please reach out to me. I mean, I'm happy to sit down with you and, you know, help you go through the whole process, start to finish. But yeah, I mean, we're trying to put this all together for you guys so we can help you get a little bit more business. And there, you know, there's no one silver bullet out there, but we'll be covering all these different topics. And if you start doing a little bit of each of these, I'm sure it'll help quite a bit over the course of the year.
I would like to see some Canva training If there's ever anybody on, any of the gals.
So, yeah, so Chelsea had told me that that was requested, and so we're planning on working on that. So I don't know if we're gonna be working on that class this week or next week. We've got about 6 classes done right now. And we're not necessarily gonna do them in the order that we built them, but, so yeah, we'll be working on that this week or next week. So we'll add that to the rotation as soon as it's done.
And also Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram was on that list too. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I have to look into Instagram. I haven't used Instagram at all. So on Canva, I'm familiar with. Instagram, I'm not. So that one's going to take a little bit more time. I know Chelsea's done some stuff on it. Maybe Chris has. So maybe they put that class together. So does anyone else have any requests?
I would just say maybe for those areas, I think social media is really huge, you know, and if that's something that's not a strength, because I know we're Champions just revamped their Facebook page or whatever, but maybe bringing in somebody who can speak to that, who's actually had a lot of success in those areas, and could be part of the training. So, you know, you guys are adding a lot of value, but I'd be open to hearing, you know, from if we need to bring in other people to talk on those topics.
I think Chelsea's had a lot of Instagram.
So
Yeah,
Facebook and Twitter, I've done a ton with, especially Facebook. Had a lot of success with Facebook and landing pages. I've actually built landing pages from scratch before on my own, including web pages. So I'm very heavy in the technical side of it and online marketing. I've done a lot of it, and we do have a Facebook class that's going to be coming up.
Oh, good. Good.
And I'm happy to go over that. But yeah, Instagram is not my area of expertise. That's why I said that one might take a little bit of time, but we will do it. I mean, it's not hard to learn these things. They all pretty much work in a similar method. The big question is, how do you build your followers? How do you build your friends, your fan base, you know, so you can get the message out there, or are you just paying to advertise? So
Good.
But yeah, any specific areas anyone would like us to focus on? Or that you'd like to see soon? Are we wanting to do the Facebook class next week?
Sure.
Whatever. Okay.
Yeah, any of those.
All right, so I'll set that up for next Tuesday then. And then Roxanne, I'll send you some email links. It'll probably be tomorrow at some point, so you can look at the content. And then if any of you have any questions or want to set up an email marketing campaign, let me know if you'd like some help, especially if you plan on doing it on your own. We can send you the unsubscribe links. But yeah, but thanks for joining us.
Thank you. That was
Thank
great.
you.
All right, you all have a good one.
Thank you very
you
much.
too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.